Why don't you laugh? We are running this series of the talks gathered from the various writers on being cheerful and optimistic and not to worry. And this is one of the series lectures. Of course, I pick up the pebbles, and therefore this is not my work. Yet I give my voice to this. That is what I do. So I collect and bring it to you like the precious stones. Thank you very much. Please listen. Why don't you laugh, young man? When troubles come, instead of sitting round so sore and glum, you cannot have all play and sunshine every day. When troubles come, I say, why don't you laugh? Why don't you laugh? I will ever help to soothe the aches and pains. No road in life is smooth. There's many an unseen bump and many a hidden stump over which you'll have to jump. Why don't you laugh? Why don't you laugh? Don't let your spirits wilt. Don't sit and cry because the milk you have spilt. If you would mend it now, pray, let me tell you how. Just make another cow. Why don't you laugh? Why don't you laugh and make us all laugh too? And keep us mortals all from getting blue. A laugh will always win. If you can't laugh, just grin. Come on, let's all join in. Why don't you laugh? Now, we will go into the science of worry and what happens when someone doesn't laugh but worry. Having just listened to the laugh poetry, now let us examine worry. It is not so much the great sorrows, the great burdens, the great hardships, the great calamities that cloud over the sunshine of life as the little petty vexations, insignificant anxieties and fear, the little daily dyings which render our lives unhappy and destroy our mental elasticity without advancing our life work 1 inch. Anxiety never yet bridged any chasm. What is the ultimate physical effect of worry? Why, the same as that of fatal bullet wound or sword thrust. Worry kills as surely, though not so quickly as ever gun or dagger did. And more people have died in the last century from sheer worry than have been killed in the battle. The investigations of the neurologists have laid bare no secret of nature in recent years more startling and interesting than the discovery that worry kills. Not only is it known that worry kills, but the most minute details of its murderous methods are familiar to modern scientists. It is a common belief of those who have made a special study of the science of brain diseases that hundreds of deaths attributed to other causes each year are due simply to worry. In plain, untechnical language, worry works its irreparable injury through certain cells of the brain life. The insidious inroads upon the system can be best likened to the constant falling of drops of water in one spot. In the brain, it is the insistent, never lost idea, the single, constant thought centered upon one subject, which in the course of the time destroys the brain cells. The healthy brain can cope with occasional worry. It is the iteration and reiteration of disquieting thoughts which the cells of the brain cannot successfully combat. The mechanical effect of the worry is much the same as in the skull, where laid bare, as if the skull laid bare and the brain exposed to the action of little hammer beating continually upon it day after day until the membranes are disintegrated and the normal functions disabled. The maddening thought that will not be downed, the haunting, ever-present idea that is not or cannot be banished by a supreme effort of the will, is the theoretical hammer which diminishes the vitality of the sensitive nerve organisms, the minuteness of which makes them visible to the eye only under a powerful microscope. The worry, the thought, the single idea grows upon one as time goes on, until the worry victim cannot throw it off. Through this, one set or area of cells is affected. The cells are intimately connected, joined together by little fibers, and they, in turn, are in close relationship with the cells of the other parts of the brain. Worry itself, a species of monomania. No mental attitude is more disastrous to personal achievement, personal happiness, and personal usefulness in the world than worry and its twin brother, despondency. The remedy for evil lies in training the will to cast off cares and seek a change of occupation. When the first warning is sounded by nature in intellectual lassitude, relaxation is the certain foe of worry. And don't fret, one of the healthiest of maxims. In a life of constant worry, we are as much behind the times as we were to go back to use the first steam engines that wasted 90% of energy of the coal, instead of having an electric dynamo that utilizes 90% of the power. Some people waste a large percentage of their energy in fretting and stewing, in useless anxiety, in scolding, in complaining about the weather and perversity of inanimate things. Others convert nearly all of their energy into power and moral sunshine. He who has learned the true art of living will not waste his energies in friction, which accomplishes nothing but merely grinds out the machinery of life. It must be relegated to the debating societies to determine which is the worse, a nervous man or a worrying woman. "I am awfully worried this morning," said the one woman. "What is it?" "Why, I thought of something to worry about last night and now I can't remember it." A famous actress once said, "Worry is foe of all beauty." She might have added, "It is the foe of all health." "It seems so heartless in me if I do not worry about my children," said one mother. "Women nurse their troubles as they do their babies. Troubles grow larger," said lady, "by nourishing." The white knight who carried about a mousetrap, lest he be troubled with mice upon his journeys, was not unlike those who anticipate their burdens. "He grieves," says Seneca, "more than it is necessary, who grieves before it is necessary." "My children," said the dying man, "during my long life I have had a great many troubles, most of which never happened." We try to grasp too much of life at once, since we think of it as a whole, instead of living one day at a time. Life is a mosaic, and each tiny piece must be cut and set with skill. First one piece, then another. A clock would be of no use as a timekeeper if it should become discouraged and come to a standstill by calculating its work a year ahead. As the clock did in Jane Taylor's fable, it is not the troubles of today, but those of tomorrow and next week and next year that whiten our heads, wrinkle our faces, and bring us to a standstill. There is such a thing as too much foresight. People get to figuring what might happen year after next and let the fire go out and catch their death of cold right where they are. Nervous prostration is seldom the result of present troubles or work, but of work and trouble anticipated. Mental exhaustion comes to those who look ahead and climb mountains before reaching them. Resolutely build a wall about today and believe within the enclosure. The past may have been hard, sad, or wrong, but it is over. Why not take a turn about instead of worrying over unforeseen misfortune? Set out with all your soul to rejoice in the unforeseen blessings of all your coming days. I find the gayest castles in the air that were ever piled far better for comfort, for use, than the dungeons in the air that are daily dug and carved out by grumbling, discontented people who are the lemon squeezers of the society. They are people who predict evil, extinguish hope, and see only the worst side. People whose very look curdles the milk and sets your teeth on the edge. They are often worthy people who think that pleasure is wrong. People, said an old divine who led us heavenward and stick pins into us all the way. They say depressing things and do disheartening things. They chill prayer meetings, discourage charitable institutions, injure commerce, and kill churches. They are blowing out lights when they ought to be kindling them. A man without mirth is like a wagon without springs, in which one jolts over every pebble. With mirth, he is like a chariot with springs, riding over the roughest roads and scarcely feeling anything but a pleasant rocking motion. Difficulties melt away before the man who carries about a cheerful spirit and persistently refuses to be discouraged, while they accumulate before the one who is always groaning over his hard luck and scanning the horizons for clouds not yet in sight. To one man, the world is barren, dull, and superficial. To another, rich, interesting, and full of meaning. If one loves beauty and looks for it, he will see it wherever he goes. If there is music in his soul, he will hear it everywhere. Every object in nature will sing to him. Two men who live in the same house and do the same work may not live in the same world, although they are under the same roof. One may see only deformity and ugliness. To him, the world is out of joint. Everything is cross-grained and out of sorts. The other is surrounded with beauty and harmony. Everybody is kind to him. Nobody wishes him harm. These men see the same objects, but they do not look through the same glasses. One looks through a smoked glass, which drapes the whole world in mourning. The other looks through rose-colored lenses, which tint everything with loveliness and touch it with beauty. Take two persons just home from a vacation. One has positively seen nothing and has always been robbed. The landlady was happy. The bedroom was unhealthy and the mutton was tough. The other has always found the coziest nooks, the cheapest houses, the best landladies, the finest views, and the best dinners. What is an optimism? At life's outset, says one, a cheerful optimist. Temperament is worth everything. A cheerful man who always feels first rate, who always looks upon the bright side, who is every time ready to snatch victory from defeat is the successful man. Everybody avoids the company of those who are always grumbling, who are full of ifs and buts. And I told you so, we like the man who always looks towards the sun, whether it shines or not. It is the cheerful, hopeful man we go to for sympathy and assistance, not the crapping, gloomy critic who always thinks it is going to rain and that we are going to have a terrible hot summer or a fearful thunderstorm, or who is always forever complaining of hard times and his hard lot. It is a bright, cheerful, hopeful, contented man who makes his way, who is respected and admired. Gloom and gloom and depression not only take much out of life, but detract greatly from the chances of winning success. It is a bright and cheerful spirit that wins the final triumph. Thank you, all my friends, for listening to this cheerfulness and the connection between worry and bad health or good health. Thank you once more.